So we beat on, boats against the current, borne back ceaselessly into the past. I hope she'll be a fool, that's the best thing a girl can be in this world, a beautiful little fool. Angry, and half in love with her, and tremendously sorry, I turned away. And I like large parties. They're so intimate. At small parties there isn't any privacy. I was within and without, simultaneously enchanted and repelled by the inexhaustible variety of life. And so with the sunshine and the great bursts of leaves growing on the trees, just as things grow in fast movies, I had that familiar conviction that life was beginning over again with the summer. I wasn't actually in love, but I felt a sort of tender curiosity. Let us learn to show our friendship for a man when he is alive and not after he is dead. You see, I usually find myself among strangers because I drift here and there trying to forget the sad things that happen to me. There are only the pursued, the pursuing, the busy and the tired. Life starts all over again when it gets crisp in the fall. Reserving judgments is a matter of infinite hope. Can't repeat the past? Why, of course you can. They're a rotten crowd, I shouted across the lawn. You were worth the whole damn bunch put together. In his blue gardens men and girls came and went like moths among the whisperings and the champagne and the stars. It's a great advantage not to drink among hard-drinking people. All I kept thinking about, over and over, was you can't live forever, you can't live forever. So we drove on toward death through the cooling twilight. I felt a haunting loneliness sometimes, and felt it in others, young clerks in the dusk, wasting the most poignant moments of night and life. No amount of fire or freshness can challenge what a man will store up in his ghostly heart. He looked at her the way all women want to be looked at by a man. It takes two to make an accident. Everyone suspects himself of at least one of the cardinal virtues, and this is mine. I am one of the few honest people that I have ever known. If personality is an unbroken series of successful gestures, then there was something gorgeous about him. There is no confusion like the confusion of a simple mind. And for a moment I thought I loved her. But I am slow-thinking and full of interior rules that act as brakes on my desires. I've been drunk for about a week now, and I thought it might sober me up to sit in a library. Do you ever wait for the longest day of the year and then miss it? I always wait for the longest day of the year and then miss it. Life is much more successfully looked at from a single window. She was feeling the pressure of the world outside and she wanted to see him and feel his presence beside her and be reassured that she was doing the right thing after all. The exhilarating ripple of her voice was a wild tonic in the rain. It was the kind of voice that the air follows up and down, as if each speech is an arrangement of notes that will never be played again. His dream must have seemed so close that he could hardly fail to grasp it. He did not know that it was already behind him. The city scene from the Queensboro Bridge is always the city scene for the first time, in its first wild promise of all the mystery and the beauty in the world. "What'll we do with ourselves this afternoon?" cried Daisy, "and the day after that, and the next 30 years? I am one of the few honest people that I have ever known." Gatsby turned out all right at the end. It is what preyed on Gatsby, what foul dust floated in the wake of his dreams that temporarily closed out my interest in the abortive sorrows and short-winded elations of men. For a moment the last sunshine fell with romantic affection upon her glowing face, her voice compelled me forward breathlessly as I listened, then the glow faded, each light deserting her with lingering regret, like children leaving a pleasant street at dusk. Once in a while I go off on a spree and make a fool of myself, but I always come back, and in my heart I love her all the time. 30 The promise of a decade of loneliness, a thinning list of single men to know, a thinning briefcase of enthusiasm, thinning hair. It was one of those rare smiles with a quality of eternal reassurance in it, that you may come across 4 or 5 times in life. The rich get richer and the poor get children. A stirring warmth flowed from her, as if her heart was trying to come out to you concealed in one of those breathless, thrilling words. He knew that when he kissed this girl, and forever wed his unutterable visions to her perishable breath, his mind would never romp again like the mind of God. Human sympathy has its limits. It is invariably saddening to look through new eyes at things upon which you have expended your own powers of adjustment. All the bright precious things fade so fast, and they don't come back. So I walked away and left him standing there in the moonlight, watching over nothing. Dishonesty in a woman is a thing you never blame deeply. Then he kissed her. At his lips' touch she blossomed for him like a flower and the incarnation was complete.